we're talking about policies and procedures. What is the purpose of policies and procedures in business?
You know, I think a large part of it is to keep it on track. You know, to keep it in control, keep it in check. You know, as a business, there are certain things that have to be done in order to get where whoever's running the company, the business, whoever owns it, whoever's running it needs to go. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the ethics behind the policies and procedures, but I really think that the purpose of policies and procedures is kind of your big vision shared with your employees for the most part, I think. I mean, I know you can go off in many different directions with that, but I really think the purpose is to say, here's what we need to do, here's where we need to go, here's what we want to accomplish, and here's how we're going to get there. And we're not going to do these things, but we're going to make sure every day from 8 to 5 we do those things to make sure that we come in here thinking this way, moving towards this direction. And in reality, company handbooks are, in my opinion, I'm just going off on another tangent with this, are kind of outdated, are kind of a joke. You know, I think it's one of those, here's the employee handbook, and P.S. You start Monday, so from 8 to 11:30 you work, 11:30 to 12:30 you have lunch, 12:30 until 5 o'clock you work. It's like, when am I supposed to read this? It's a 300-page brick of nothing. And it's kind of one of those, well, didn't you ever read it in the Policies and Procedures Handbook? No, because I never had the time.
You know what?
And you never told me to do that.
And I'm going to interject because that completely tells the employee, how much does that mean to you? If you give a book of 200 pages, 100 pages, 50 pages, and say you have 2 hours to read it, or read it some other time, on your own time, obviously you're saying this doesn't matter.
Right.
If they were to say, we're going to spend, could you imagine a week on all of our policies and procedures where you understand how they correlate to the mission and our goals as a company? Can you imagine the difference in pride that you would have for that company, the respect that you would have?
It depends on how it was written.
Okay. Go with that.
I'm going to run with this. If it was written in a way that made sense to me, you get your accounting, you get your marketing, your sales, you got your D&R and all that kind of stuff. I look at big picture. The purpose of the policies and procedures for each different department are going to be different. The impact's going to be different. The implications are going to be different, and how those things are implemented are going to be different. And I think that if say for example, you get a job with an accounting firm, perfect example. Accounting firm, for the most part, probably isn't going to really think much about marketing. Well, I know a guy who works for an accounting firm, great guy. They make really hasty decisions when it comes to marketing. They're not focused on the return on investment, things like that, et cetera, et cetera. And they're looking at these things and they're saying, these things are important to us. But then they neglect the other things that are going to directly impact their business that they have very little control over. So if we look at policies and procedures across the board, it's going to be different for each department. Each person in each department, in my opinion, should have different goals, ambitions, dreams, aspirations, things that need to be done. And business, at least in my opinion, and I've only been in the working world so long, but I started working when I was 11, it's just different. You can't write a 300-page book and have more than 2 employees and have it make sense to everybody, because you can't expect everybody to do exactly the same job. You can't expect everyone to follow the same policies and procedures, because if it takes you 4 hours to do what the book tells you to do, and you know of a way to cut that time in half, and you present it, unfortunately you look like the outcast, and they don't like that. And unfortunately they value hard work over innovation and creativity.
Yes.
And I think that's where policies and procedures fall short. It's like, here's what we expect, here's what we need. And most of the time they don't go over it with you. It's like, well, didn't you read this? Didn't you see it? We talked about that. The other thing that they neglect to do is highlight the things that are most important. Okay, here's a 200-page book. Chances are I'm not going to read this. Actually, I can guarantee you I'm not going to read this. I probably won't even look to see what the chapters are. Why don't you highlight the 5 most important things to you and this department, and then give me the top 10 for the business, and I can focus on those things. Because how things are done and how a phone call is done, that's what kills me. Policies and procedures when it comes to sales, I'm going to go off on a complete tangent with this, but I'm running with it. Policies and procedures, at a few places I've worked, they give you scripts. I love that. Oh, we're going to call our customers and we're going to get them excited about our business. We're getting a sale, we're having this event, we're opening this new product, whatever it is, they give you a script. People are not stupid. They know it's a script. Why would you? And I have to work off the fly. I'm terrible. If you give me a script, I will flub the first sentence with the last sentence, and they will be like, "I'm sorry, I'm confused," and then they will hang up. Why not allow your employees to have a voice? Everybody does things a little different. Mm-hmm. And in my policies and procedures book, I will write, be the brand, but be yourself. You can't expect everyone to do it the same way. If you wrote a policies and procedures handbook in 1964 when your business opened, and it's 2010 now, chances are a lot of what's written in there is outdated and unimportant. And that's where businesses fall short. Business is not done the way it was done 5 years ago. Right. Business is not done the way it was done 2 years ago. And it will continue to evolve and change. And the sooner we know that, the better we can educate our employees on our bottom line.